Chapter 13, The Ryodii. The hostess who had guided Sena earlier quietly opened the sliding door and entered the annex where Jovia was. She brought a long tray with a sake bottle and a stacked box on it, likely for additional orders. "Ma'am, I came to see you off." "Yay, thank you for your hard work." The waitress placed the food and drinks on the table and then sat down where Sena had been sitting there earlier. "Whoa, aren't you being very rude, employee?" Without paying any attention to Jovia's dissatisfaction, the hostess pulled her hair up, tied it lightly, and took out a pair of glasses from her pocket and put them on. "Shall I hear the report?" "Proprietress, is it time to go?" Yes, I know." Jovia took the sake bottle, poured some sake into a new glass, and presented it to the hostess, Lady Elian. "Unfortunately, I was rejected." Jovia looked behind Elian towards the next room. Unlike before, the sliding door was now wide open and revealed an adjoining room with a futon laid out inside. "I don't want to hear about it. Besides, he's a better match for Raskachan, isn't he?" "Oh, I told you, you perverted lord. You're just making statues with that beard and from the front and back. I want a man too. I'm lonely sleeping alone. This young, ripe body, you're a nuisance to young men. If you want to have so much fun, why don't you go to the Sea of Magic Trees and do it with some goblins? If that's the case, I'll just have Oyakadon with that child, you pest. If you do that, I'll seriously request that the guild exterminate you." Raska was an idol of the guild. She was a miracle child who grew up obedient and serious under that mother, and who worked hard. For her sake, and with their daily grudge against Jovia, high-ranking hunters and adventurers who wanted to take a hit would surely flock together. If that happened, there would be heavy casualties, but even Jovia, known as the demon, would surely be beaten to a pulp. Okay. Jovia then realized that the female lord in front of her was serious and nodded obediently. "So, how was it?" "It's possible that this is a parallel universe, so I can't say for sure, but from what I've confirmed, it appears that he's from the same hometown as me. And from the same era." Sena's concerns seemed to be in vain. "So that proves your story isn't completely false after all. Also, he can hear the voice of the magic system." "I see. You seem to have made a good find. I wonder if we can pull him over somehow." Hearing this, Jovia pointed at herself happily. "Even though you're the north wind in the fable, the north wind and the sun that you once told me." Yes, that's right. "Unfortunately, it seems he intends to return to the sky, so it's impossible to lure him in. Anyway, as long as he owes Beard money, he'll stay here, so I guess I'll just have to ingratiate myself with him and use him up." "Then we should do something about the pirates." "You're going to come along anyway, aren't you?" "Of course." "But what are your findings? Have you had them analyzed?" The corridor Sena was led though was equipped with various inspection equipment. Of course, the main purpose was to prevent bringing in dangerous items. Also, Elian, being the lord of the manor, had the skill of appraisal. Considering how long it's been since his magical organs were created, his growth rate is greater than yours. He has already reached water rank. However, what I'm concerned about is the rumor about Mabia's love. Yeah, according to Sena, that's a phenomenon they call probability bias. Well, it's the same in the sense that he attracts bad luck. Apparently, he's had some pretty terrible experiences since he was born. So, did you feel something? Well, my impression is that it's something that was once broken, but has been solidified and reshaped. I see. If he was possessed by the goddess Mabia since birth, it's no wonder that he broke. But from what I've heard, he seems like a normal boy. He seems like a serious person. Those who are Mabia's lovers are usually abandoned by their parents, so someone must have taken him in, or there must have been a strong influence close to him. I think he rebuilt himself according to the ideal that that person had in mind. Even if he was destroyed once and rebuilt, he's like Frankenstein's monster. What's that? It's a fictional story from that world. The one where a mad scientist creates humans by assembling the best parts of corpses he robs from graves. You can't be serious. I won't do that. You can make androids without doing that. Although she quickly explained her situation, it was far from convincing due to her usual behavior. However, they had been friends for a long time, so Elian decided that it would be okay given her personality. Well, that's fine. But more importantly, be careful if you go with that guy. There's no doubt that it was a woman who influenced him. He's Mabia's lover, so he's a pretty formidable opponent. He said he has 4 wives. Well, that's still a long way off, but I think the disciples of Mabia will take action soon. What does Beard have to say? There has been no talk of that happening. The rumors haven't spread that far yet, so even if they do make a move, it will probably be a while before that happens. In any case, they will take their time to determine the disciples of Mabia. Then I'm going to check with my acquaintances. Well, if he is recognized as a messenger of God, then there's a good chance he can be our ally, so that's convenient. On the other hand, if you incur her displeasure, it will be troublesome. You should be especially careful. If you're an enemy of the messenger, you're an enemy of the apostle. Yes, yes. Jeez. I should have sighed in ecstasy when I was hit with the fury of my youth, so why did I have to sleep with a 30-something lord? As night deepened, Jovia drank sake while watching Elian sleep in the next room. The number of sake bottles had increased to 3, and only the last tier of the 5-tiered box remained. Is it about time? A magic circle appeared in front of Jovia and a mid-air monitor started up. After a few ringtones, a stunningly beautiful elven woman appeared on the monitor. Jovia secretly had a place to exchange information with the people at the Cowground base. One Banco Ironchi, you're still as infuriatingly beautiful as ever. Have you found a boyfriend? There's a goblin with beard stubble who smells of perfume wandering around, and no sane person would even go near him, you drunk. What about you, Joviachi? Both Jovia and Iron used language that was unbecoming of their beauty. Even though they were exchanging information, it was not a formal exchange. It felt more like friends exchanging updates and complaints. Hee hee. I've found someone who I think will be a good dad to her. If Sena were to see her squirming with her cheeks flushed and heard the words she said, he would probably run away immediately, even if it meant defaulting on his debt. Ugh. Seriously? Don't mess with me, divorcee. So, do you think it'll work out? It will probably take a bit of time, but it's a pretty big one, so I'll proceed carefully. Oh no. Now I feel like drinking too. Iron leaned on one elbow in dissatisfaction and looked away. Is it still morning over there? More importantly, is that cleft-jawed goblin you mentioned earlier doing his job properly? He didn't come over here, but there's definitely damage somewhere. Sorry. As usual, we just followed after the pirates retreated. It was an advanced reconnaissance, so the details are unclear, but it looks like they targeted them in the middle of a festival, so there must have been quite a bit of damage. They were probably targeting the Harvest Festival. If so, they would have taken both money and people, making it an easy win situation. I see. I really want to punch you. You're holding back well, Ironchi. I've been punching dummies every day to let off some steam. I've already punched the 5th one. I know this sounds disgusting, but I have no authority to command, and if I were to cause some kind of scandal and end up staying behind, it would just become even more troublesome. The fact that the only way to get rid of him is to promote him makes me really angry. I'm sure he'll take his cronies with him, so I think things will be a little better. You think his replacement will be any better? Next time I'll hit him right from the start. Cuckoo. If you do something like that, won't that put your return further away, Miss Princess in a box? The box that Jovia referred to did not mean cherished, but rather locked up. Like putting a raging wild animal in a cage. It's better than letting stress build up, and it's about time you got a proper job. Seriously, what's the point of having a base here? Are you ready to spend the rest of your life there? That might be nice. I wish they'd come over here sometimes. There are a few things I'd like to try. Shooting down 2 weeknights with magic will put them on alert. Jovia had previously used traps to capture weeknights, but of course they had already been corrupted by mechanical rot and were no longer functioning properly, and had been turned into materials by Baragaru and his team. Normally, if a pirate is underestimated, we lose. If they lose, they'll come back to get revenge, right? Those who are trying to make a little money in this remote area won't get their money's worth if weeknights get destroyed so easily. There are other places where they can make money easily, so they won't go near a place with ferocious magic beasts. Tisk. Ballless bastards. Yes, but, What's wrong? It seems like things are a bit noisy in the center. Maybe things might get a bit noisy over here too, so the grandfather of the main family warned us to stay quiet. Well, there's nothing we can do here though. Well, that doesn't concern me. I'll just wait for the cracked jaw to go away. After finishing their regular contact, Jovia was deep in thought for a moment. It's pretty noisy in the center. Hey, is it something to do with Sena? Jovia poured herself some sake, remembering Sena's story, but the sake bottle was about half empty. She glanced towards the entrance to ask for more, but then thought better of it and put the sake bottle down. Well, either way, if that's what you're talking about, then let's wait for Iron Cheese information. I have to get up early tomorrow, so I'll be off to bed soon. After shoveling the remaining food from the bento box into her mouth and washing it down with the remaining sake, Jovia took off her yukata and haori jacket, stripped naked, casually spread out a futon in the closet, and crawled into it. Welcome home. Sena was welcomed by Nana and entered the house. He sighed in relief at the warmth of the room. It wasn't that cold, but he was nervous after hearing all sorts of surprising stories from Jovia, a spirit-weary type of person, in an unfamiliar high-class restaurant. He was also feeling a sense of relief, having gotten used to this house. By the way, what is this souvenir? Well, it's alcohol, snacks, sweets, tea leaves, etc. They'll be fine indoors for about 3 days, so take your share to your room. If there's anything you don't need, you can give it to Nana. If it's a souvenir from Yoshikyo, the contents will change to suit the customer, so I think it'll be fine. Sena turned to look at Nana and gave a small nod. Gahahaha. Sorry for making you join in that today. You have training tomorrow, so get some rest. Sena went upstairs and immediately checked out the souvenirs. There's a lot here. Just as you'd expect from a high-class restaurant. It was no wonder Nayuta was in such a good mood when talking to him. Inside the intricately woven basket was a lacquered tea caddy with 8 kinds of tea leaves and a porcelain tea set. Inside the Polonia wood box, which had dividers, there were dozens of small varieties of baked goods, bean snacks, and sugary confections. The food was also amazing, but it was amazing how well it turned out. The fact that they had a different feel from the food and sweets he saw around town meant that they were Yoshikyo originals, meaning that Jovia has recreated Japanese cuisine. There are many ingredients that you won't find in the fields, so they are harvested from the magic tree forest. I didn't realize it when we were lost, but the vegetation was certainly quite diverse. Just looking at this makes it clear that the magic trees are a valuable resource. It's only natural that being a hunting adventurer is a major occupation. There's no doubt that these are luxury ingredients, so I'll scan them and collect their data for future reference. Once he knew the ingredients, he could search and identify them in the magic tree forest. If he compared it with the ingredients in the market and it wasn't there, it may be a rare item. If it was something used in a high-end restaurant, it should be worth a fair amount. Oh, thank you. Also, since the issue with the surveillance barrier has been resolved, why don't you contact ZINV properly? Oh, that's right. Now that Jovia knew, there was no need to worry about hiding anything anymore. He immediately used his spirit thread teleport to move outside the barrier. ZINV, can you hear me? Sena. Sena, Sena, Sena. It had been a long time since he felt the ticklish sensation of a puppy cuddling him. I'm sorry, I haven't been able to get in touch with you for a while. Is everything all right? Yes, I'm fine. It's going to be a little while before I can see you again, but I'll be able to contact you now, so please be patient. I have friends, so I'll be patient. What? Who's your friend? What's wrong? Hey, she lives in the forest. Just like Sagio. A dryad, a plant-type monster that lives in the magic tree forest. I see, so that's it. I get it. I'm glad you made a friend. Yup. I'll contact you again then. Let me know if anything happens. Yup. Feeling relieved to see that ZINV was still in good condition, Sena transferred to his room and went to sleep for the night.